Here? No? Yes? How many should be? 30? 30, 51. Okay. Um, not to worry about the notes. This is just to give you ahead of time, so that you have some idea what's going to happen. Um, anyway, so welcome back to your another semester. I hope it's not too dreading. Is this your first class? I've been teaching like almost 10 years now. My class always first class, first period, first semester. Always first. Did never got the chance to relax a bit. Okay, anyhow, we'll just do it briefly today. But what's more important is for you to get introduced to the topic of physiology itself. Okay? Is there any non-local student? All local? Are you about to raise your hand? No, if it's all local students, I can do some. It feels nicer to mark it in your own bahasa. Right. Go on. Okay. So welcome to crop physiology. Have you learned physiology before? No. Any idea what physiology is about? To put it simply, physiology is actually a subdiscipline in biology. Okay, so there are many disciplines in biology, and physiology is one of them. Physiology is the study of functions and mechanisms in any living system. Okay, so when I say living system, it is not restricted only to human being like you. Any living system, it can be human physiology, it can be animal physiology, plant physiology, crop physiology, this class, insects physiology, or even bacteria physiology. So it's all about understanding functions and mechanism. And in a bit, you're going to see what exactly are functions and mechanism. Are they somewhat synonymous to each other, linguistically? Or do they have some key differences in terms of scientific definition? Oops. So the course is 3 credit hour, 2 plus 1. So you're going to undergo 2 hours worth of lecture. And I have noted that throughout this semester, you're going to have a number of Mondays public holiday. Yay. If we do it correctly, no replacement classes are needed. Okay? Or if you feel too enthusiastic about it, we can do replacement classes, no problem. Right. And then that plus 1 is meant for practical, your lab sessions. Okay? So lab sessions, we'll talk about it in a bit more later. But in essence, I think we're not going to do the lab just yet before your Eid holiday, because some of your experiments require you to take care of the plants. I don't want you to sow the seeds for 1 week and the next day you eat Hari Raya and then the plant's dead. So that's not nice. Okay, so I'm going to do the reshuffle around so that you're going to have these lecture-based lessons for 2 weeks, and then you can go for your holiday. Okay, then come back to cry again. Okay, right. So let's see what you're going to learn for the rest of the semester. This is why I ask you, is there any non-local? Because this all documents, official documents, are in Malay language. So you're going to learn about the growth analysis for the crops. So you're going to see what is meant by crop growth and also or plant growth. What's the difference between crop and plant? Are they similar? Crop, crop. Oh, why? No. Are they similar? Crop and plant? Plant under crop. All
is plant, but not all plant are crop.
all is plant.
All crop are plant, not all plant.
Okay, that's correct. That's correct. Yeah. If you have somehow read the notes, I've written somewhere there. Okay. So basically, it's all started off as plants, and then how many plant species are present on this planet at the moment? Identifiable plants. Did you learn in your botany? Have you taken your botany? Yeah. So, did you learn how many plant species are on planet Earth now? No idea. So, you didn't learn. It's around 400,000 species. Okay. So, from these 400,000 species, I think the most only about 5%, that's the maximum of it, that actually turn into crop. Crops meaning that plants that have been highly domesticated for the consumption or of economic values to humans, or also for medicinal purposes, or any three basic F: food, flavor, fuel, or maybe furniture. You need to build your house. People in the past, they use lots of log and timber, right? So when we talk about crop here, we are talking about selected plant species that are actually having economic importance and interest in the sector of agriculture and horticulture. So what's your program? Horticulture? Agriculture? Horticulture. So nobody agriculture? No. So these selected plants are known as crops. Okay, but sometimes it can be a dicey area. A plant can be a crop, but somehow it can interchangeably depending on the context of the situation. For example, in a plantation that is filled by corn plants, suddenly you have one or two chili plants in between the corn row. Is chili is considered crop in that plantation? No. In this case, it's actually a weed, right? Okay. But if the auntie purposely planted the chili there because she loved it so much, it's not a weed then. It's just a regular, hobby plant, right? So it's very subjective and depending on the context what you're talking at the moment, right? So then you're going to look at about the seeds. There's a saying, the seeds of life. What are seeds? What's the importance? How it develops, and so on. Then we're going to move to photosynthesis. This is very important, photosynthesis. Although I think we're going to reshuffle this a bit. We're not going to necessarily follow this sequence, okay? I'm going to teach, because photosynthesis is a bit advanced, we're going to put it right at the end of the semester, okay? Because there is a instrument demonstration that is going to take place during your practical session, which is pertaining to photosynthesis. So I would like you to learn it first properly, then only you undergo the photosynthesis instrumentation demo. Right. And then you learn about the water. the facts about water. So what's water actually? The properties of water. Why is it important? And can plants live without water, or is there any substitute? Why water is important in terms of growth and development, right? Okay, then we move to the effects of climate change to the growth of the crops. Okay, so because you are living in a rather global situations now, like the global warming, you got this erratic weather, suddenly typhoon, prolonged monsoon, prolonged El Nino, or maybe a drought that's happening in areas that's never been experiencing drought before. So all of these are called the climatic factors that can have profound effects on the crops that you are growing. Okay, so the lesson is going to be relevant regardless whether you are in Malaysia or anywhere in the world. Okay, just because you are living in Alaska doesn't mean that you are not going to be experiencing the effects of global warming. Alaska is very, very far high up north, but the effects of global warming can still be felt. Don't think of global warming as the warmth itself. There is a side effects of global warming, like the heavy and prolonged rain. You got the flood, the flash flood. That's the effects of global warming because it gets warmer, so the sea evaporates more water, and then you got more and more clouds. That's hence more rain coming to the nearby region, right? So when we talk about this climate change, it's not really a linear topic. There's always some kind of chain story attached to it. Okay, and then we're going to move to plant nutrition. Okay, I used to teach this long time ago. Do you remember your chemistry lesson, periodic table of elements? Yeah, we're going to learn that again during this time. Yeah, who loves chemistry? I see you got some of your friends love chemistry, right? Yeah. So we're going to see what elements or nutrients that are important, vital for normal function for healthy crops and production. Okay, and then we're going to learn about the PGR. That is PGR. Plant growth regulator, or simply hormone, phytohormone. Okay, so we learn about hormones. Do you have hormones?
Yes.
What hormones do you have? Who has estrogen? You got estrogen? What do you have? Testosterone. So the ladies do not have testosterone. Are you sure? I hate to break this to you. You have both in certain ratio, and the ratio is not fixed throughout your life. Okay, that's why you see some aunties and an ama getting more like akong as they, progressing in age. Right. Okay, and finally we talk about the reproduction, the physiology of reproduction, about fertilization, the function of the flower as the reproductive structure, and that's pretty much that. Okay, and this is the rest of it. I'm not going to go through all this. This is the generally what's going to happen during your practical session. So, like I said earlier, we're going to do your practical session after you come back from your holiday, which going to be week number 4, I think. Is it 4? Yeah, week 4, right? So, not to worry. You learn the fundamental of it first, and maybe I can give you one or two small activity so that you are prepped before the actual practical session takes place. Okay, and we got some of the this list of book reference. Almost no student actually go to the library and find this, because you like to rely on this, right? Right. Okay. So up to this point, any question? Any objection? I don't want to learn this. This is not what I expected. Right. Do you have a copy of this? So the good thing about choosing my group is I always give you notes. Yeah. Yes. PDF. That will. Oh, we'll talk about it in a bit. Usually, Putra Blast doesn't like my account. So for all my classes, I have set up outside cloud storage for the class to access. So that's where you're going to access all of these PDF notes and also to submit your assignment later. Okay? Because at the end of the class, I hope that you can divide yourself into groups and then write your name in a piece of paper. How many of you? 30, right? So, 31. Maybe we can have like, I don't want too many groups. Maybe we can have like 4 groups, 4 or 5 groups. Yeah. So you can decide by yourself. Appoint a lead in your group, the chief of your group. Write it on the paper, and then that will be your group for the rest of the semester, right? Because we're going to do a number of activity. The reason we do activity is because to help you with the carry marks. Yeah, you'll be surprised how bad your final can be sometimes. Yeah. So we need something to plaster up all your sins for the previous months in the semester, right? But in order to do that, I need to do activity, right? So we'll do the activity in a group. We'll see about that at the end of the class. Okay. Right. Let's see. What time now? Is this clock correct? 8:71. 71? 17. 18. Lupa, patutlah rabun. Tak pakai spek. Any reason why you choose this group, or just go with it? Go with it. Are you sure? It's okay. You can still drop register for the first 2 weeks of the semester, right? And free of charge. They're not going to charge you for that, right? Okay. I'll try to finish this just up to 1 hour of this lecture only. Okay, and then we can dismiss, and then we continue on Wednesday, right? Right. Let's see about the introduction. So this is pretty much what I have mentioned earlier about the concept of crop physiology, and that is you understand and you are able to describe the 2 important things in physiology: the processes and the functions. So what are these 2 terminologies doing? They're talking about what? What are processes? What are functions? So in short, processes are actually natural events or sequences that happen within the living system. Okay, because you are learning about crop and plants, so we are only going to focus on the processes that are related to the plants only. Okay, some of these are not happening in human. Which one? Okay, really? Seed formation. How about stomatal opening and closing? Does that happen to you? Are you sure? Did you know that? Do you know stomata? Stomata are the microscopic pores on the either side of the leaves. So stomata actually is a Greek word. Greek, Yunani, not Greek Perak tu. Greek word means mouth. Mouth. Mata. It's Greek. This is plural. The singular of it is stoma. Okay. So opening and closing of mouth. Is that happening to you or not? So how come you answer no? Yeah. So the one good thing about science is you also learn about the etymology. You know etymology? Etymology is the study of word origin. Yeah. For example, biology. From two words, bios and logos. Logos is the study of. Bio means life, living. So biology is actually the study of living things. Okay. So this is what etymology is all about. Right. Okay. So these are the processes that usually found naturally in plants, regardless of the plant species. You're going to get this: photosynthesis, ion absorption, transpiration, assimilation, seed formation, respiration, and so on. Right? What about if the plants are rather ancient? You see, maybe you learned if you remember from your botany, some plants are regarded as ancient because they are without vascular system. Do you still remember the division of the plant? Oh, suddenly like, I thought this is all over. It's coming back again. I leave for you to do the small revision later. Okay, please understand that there are a number of plant division. Do you know division? What's that? Please don't think your botany lesson is just for you to memorize all the weird scientific names and come to the lab to draw some pretty flowers. That's not all about it. That's actually more than that. What's the division? Anybody want to try? I'm asking about division, not yet about the vascular system. Oh, what's the division? Is it division of phylum?
Phyla.
Phyla is plural. Phylum is singular. So what's the division? Apa division?
Dia macam rank.
Dia macam rank. Rank apa? just a quick recall. You shouldn't be forgetting this, because as a science student, you're going to use this multiple times throughout your science career. Okay? So division is actually a taxonomic rank. Okay? So taxonomic hierarchy, the name of it all, there's a sequence to it. It starts with what? Kingdom. Ending what? Okay. Do you remember? Do you remember it all? I'll give you small mnemonic. Small mnemonic. Kau nak tulis? I these are my students. I like to torment them. You want to give them the taxonomic rank formula? I don't have Malay formula because I learn in English masa muda-muda dulu. So can you write straight away? What is it? Apa? Lagi suruh apa? Okay, so this become. I don't want to do this. Let's pick someone. Who wants to write it? You still remember? Come on. Do you want to write? So king is for kingdom. You miss an N. Division. For plants, we use division. For animals, we use phylum. Alright, okay, is she correct? Yay! If she got a group already, the group will be granted marks now. You know, during Ramadan, don't show the grade so much. Okay, so please memorize this, okay? This is just to help you a bit. Right, okay, so that's processes. What about functions? So functions is actually the activity that is happening to maybe a structure, a system in an organism, or a chemical substance or biomolecules in an organism, right? So you may have, for example, an organ like the heart. So what's the function of heart in human? To pump blood, right? So cell, there are many types of cells in a plant. For example, the epidermal cells, okay? Epidermal cell that becomes the first layer of the leaf. That actually contains cuticle wax to prevent water from escaping the leaf tissue very easily, right? And then maybe you can talk about the function of specific organelle. There is one organelle in plant that is not present in human. Vacuole. Okay, vacuole. Any other thing? Chloroplast. Any other thing? Cell wall. Okay, right. So these things has its own function. Okay, cell wall is to give the rigid form for the cell. Okay, cell wall cannot do photosynthesis. That's not the function of it. Okay, so please understand these differences. Or maybe you want to talk about the chemical constituent function. For example, glucose in plants. Plants can manufacture glucose. Can human manufacture glucose? Are you sure?
Can complex thinking.
Ever heard of this? If you learn your biology during your foundation, you should have learned this. Gluconeogenesis. It can come from your protein. Protein in your body can be converted to sugar as well. Okay? And then eventually it becomes glucose. Right? So the function of the organelles such as chloroplast or can make the sugar. The sugar itself, the glucose now, it on its own has special function. Glucose is what we call as a monomer, the single unit of a sugar. Two glucose together, what it becomes now? One glucose is a monomer, it's a monosaccharide. Mono, one. Saccharides means sugar, one sugar. Two glucose molecules together, what do you call it now? Disaccharide. So glucose, there's a special name now. You don't call it glucose now. Maltose. What else? What about fructose? Is it monosaccharide or disaccharide? Monosaccharide. What about sucrose? Disaccharide. So it's the combination of what?
Fructose and glucose.
Yes, fructose and glucose. Okay, so you can see that this special chemical constituent, very small, you can't really see with your naked eyes. It has its own function. What's the function? It can be the source of energy when it's on its own, like the glucose, straight can become ATP. But it can also combine with its own kind or other kind of sugar to create disaccharide, to create oligosaccharide, to create polysaccharide. And when all of these polysaccharides intertwine together, they've now formed a special structure that you just said just now, which is the cell wall, the cellulose. So cellulose, the fiber that you are consuming in your diet, that's actually the combination of long strings of intertwined glucose. It's just glucose molecules. Okay? But does it taste sweet? Because we do not have the enzyme cellulase to break it down. That's why you can't taste it sweet. That's why you cannot get energy out of the cellulose fiber that you consume. You might have bacteria that can break it down, but, well, that's going to benefit the bacteria really, not really you, right? Okay, so both of these processes and functions, they come together, causing the organism or a living system, such as plant, to function well. And on top of it, this is the third thing that you need to worry about. When you're talking about living things, any living things is subjected by external stimuli or factors. If you go outside, are you on your own? What are environmental factors that you experience if you go right in the middle of the field? Light, water, temperature, wind, vibration, cosmic ray, anything. So these are all the environmental factors that can be perceived by the organism and therefore have impacts on both functions and the processes. Okay, so this is why you can see that the changes of in Malaysia we don't have this. We are pretty much tropical evergreen. But if you go to the 4 seasons countries, there's a shifting of season. After summer, what do you get? Autumn. One day you go to London and experience. After summer, spring. Yeah. After summer, autumn. Before summer, spring. Spring, summer, autumn, winter. Regardless of the earth hemisphere you are in now. The sequence, that is the sequence. Okay? So what is one distinctive thing that you can notice during autumn? Yeah, okay. Before the plant drop the leaves, what happened to the color of the plant? It turns red. Have you seen that before? Autumn leaves falling around, red color, yellowish color. So these leaves were once green. How come it becomes yellow and reddish now? Because now it has its own function. It has its own processes in the leaf. But due to the environmental factors during autumn time, in autumn time you have less sunlight, less photoperiod, and also the temperature is dropping gradually. So colder temperature, longer night. These two causing the chlorophyll to break down. When chlorophyll breaks down, the once green looking leaves is going to look no longer green. Okay? It might of your interest to, when you look at the leaf, don't think the leaf is green because green is the only color present in the leaf. No. You're going to learn, I'll show you later in the lab. When you take a piece of leaf, that's actually not green. If you extract all the pigments in the leaf, that's actually many colors combination. The reason you see leaf green, because chlorophyll is the dominant pigments in the leaf. There are other pigments. Pigments means the coloring substance in the leaf. Okay, there are anthocyanins that gives purple or red color. There are xanthophyll that gives the yellow color. And also you got the carotene that gives the orange color. Yeah. And there are phycocyanin that gives the grayish color. Right? So these color, they are in small amount compared to chlorophyll. That's why the leaf appears green to you. However, during autumn time, when the temperature drops and the darkness becoming longer and longer with the progression of the day, chlorophyll breaks down and these other color will start to manifest. That's why you see color in autumn, red leaves falling, yellow leaves falling. Okay, so this is my point when I said about the external stimuli coming and giving impact to the processes and functions in plants. Right. Okay. So this is just another example about why you need to understand these processes and functions. We take another example here. So the functions of plants absorbing NPK. What's NPK? So this is the nutrients that plants need, and also the water. So the functions of these molecules to energize and also to run all of these processes in plant, particularly in leaves. You've got photosynthesis, nitrogen assimilation, and also transpiration. Okay, nitrogen is needed to make leaf. Okay, that's why the nickname for nitrogen is leaf maker. Phosphorus is needed for root development. Okay, while potassium is needed for the stomata closing and opening. Remember, we talked about the stomata just now. The reason the stomata can close and open thanks to the potassium. So the function of these molecules are so that the plants can perform all of these processes. However, these processes can be up-regulated or down-regulated, meaning that they can be sped up or be halted depending on the environmental factor. And one environmental factor that can have impact on these processes is the presence of light. Okay, light intensity or light quality. Okay. During photosynthesis, you're going to learn that when we talk about light, it's not only just how bright or how dim the light is. Okay, there's a little bit more than that. Okay, the science of light, right? So all of this come into play together to determine whether your little plant here is it going to do well or otherwise. Because when you talk about horticulture, agriculture, you hope to harvest your plants somehow, depending on the organs of interest. If your plants that you grow is orchids, what is your organs of interest? Flower. If you grow pak choy, what's your organs of interest? If you grow tapioca, what's your organ of interest? Really? You just learned your botany, right? Tuber. Too bad because I teach botany too. Right. So all of these environmental factors giving impact to processes and functions will determine the abundance of the organs of interest harvest. Whether you're going to get more or less, whether you're going to get a good quality or otherwise. Sometimes if the leaf is not receiving sufficient light, it's not going to look the way you want it. You know, I want to say mocha nut, yeah? The green tea, the matcha. You know? Do you know that? Kau tak letak dalam minum. You see, in order to have the green tea, it's not simply the farmers grow it and just pluck the leaf. That tea plant, Camellia sinensis, is actually shaded. The sunlight that it receives is greatly reduced so that the newly coming out shoot becoming super lighter green. And this light green new coming shoot is the one that gets plucked and then turned into green tea. That's where you get your matcha, your sencha, oicha, hojicha, and so on. Right? But it's not going to happen if the farmers do not understand this process. The plants is able to make this lighter green color shoot because of reduction in light. You see, this is why physiology is important. When you know what environmental stimuli to manipulate, you can ensure that not only you get abundance in the volume of your harvest, but you get the right kind of quality for your harvest. Yeah. For the orchid, for example, the orchid, the Phalaenopsis, the moth orchid, it's not going to produce flower buds if the temperature doesn't suddenly drop about 3 to 4 degrees. So that's why Phalaenopsis, if it's not in the air-conditioned environment, it will only start to bloom when there's a drop in temperature and the whole week pretty much raining. So you get your Phalaenopsis. Right. Okay. I know I talk about lots of organs in plant. This is just to remind you. You start with cells. A bunch of cells will make what? Tissue. Same tissue, a mass of tissue together will make organs. A number of different organs, you got system. Various systems come together, you get Organisms. That's good. Okay, so plants like human got organs as well. So we got the shoot system, wherever that is above ground, this is called the shoot system. Wherever below the ground or subterranean, we call it the root system. So for the shoot system, you got the shoot, the stem, and these two are called the vegetative parts of the plants. Vegetative means that the plant is not in the reproduction mode. Okay, the moment the plants have entered certain maturity stage, it will undergo a reproductive growth. Then you will start to have your flowers coming, and then the flowers, if they get fertilized, they will develop and becoming fruit. Yeah, depending. Some plants produce fruit, some plants produce um, pods, and so on. The roots, is it vegetative or reproductive? Vegetative or reproductive? Who says vegetative? Please don't be lalang in my class. 3, 4. Who says reproductive? Even more. Interesting, interesting. Where do you think the word vegetative comes from? Vegetation. Vegetation what? You want to play language? I can say Arabic in you, nabati. That's a Quranic word for that, nabata. You know your vegetables? What organ is that? Just leave. It's a stem. What don't you see in vegetable? I'm talking about the literal definition of it just now. Actually, those carrot and stuff, that's what we call tuber. Yeah, tuberous vegetables. Right. So vegetables is actually referring to the leafy parts of the plants, the leaf and the stem, meaning that after the juvenile stage of your plants, it will enter vegetative to produce lots of leaf, stem, and also root. Root is actually vegetative, the vegetative part of it. Can root become reproductive? Can it? Can it? What about groundnuts? Where do you get your groundnuts? Shoot system or root system? Shoot system. So is groundnuts is actually part of the reproductive system. But is it root?
Not root.
Okay, if it's not root, what is it then?
It's the fruit lah.
You know groundnuts? Groundnuts. You get it underground, right?
Yeah.
So my question is it roots or not?
No.
Who says yes? Groundnuts is root. No? Who says groundnuts is not root? Most of you. So if groundnut is not roots, what is it actually? Before you get the groundnut, what do you get first?
Flower.
So you're telling me the flower in the soil?
No. It's bread.
Try how?
Modified root.
Modified root. This is not ubi kayu. What happened actually?
They first flower on top of the plant, and then once they fertilize,
They push. What's that? Push. They suddenly decide to jump off the building. Push.
they bury themselves.
Bury themselves. Bury actually being done by someone. Someone burying you. If if you want to bury yourself, how are you going to cover everything? So that's a special. Groundnut is actually a special form of fruit. It's called eukaryotic fruit, or maybe the spelling like this. Geo means earth. Carpix means fruit. Geocarpus fruit. Meaning that the flower, the moment it gets fertilized, the stem of the flower, or we call it peg, PEG, like a cloth peg, spit baju tu, will plunge into the soil. In a way, kind of like burying itself. But because it plunges right into the soil and it gets bigger and heavier, it gets deeper and deeper into the soil. So that's why you will still see the flower of groundnuts yellow on top, because last night it decides to jump off the building. And then the rest of the peanut pods will develop underground. Okay, so this special form we call it geocarpus. Right? Did you learn this in botany? No. Apa yang kau belajar masa botany? Is? Lukis. Cantik. Okay, right. Okay, I'll give you take 5. We'll continue for another 20 minutes and then we're done with today. Okay? Pause. Right. So let's continue this. So for the final part of the lesson today, we have a quick look at the 3 terminologies important in plant physiology, namely growth, development, and differentiation. You need to get these terminologies correct. Okay? So growth. What is growth? It is actually the irreversible change in size of the cells and plant organs due to 2 processes: cell division, cell enlargement. Cell division is, of course, mitosis. Cell enlargement is simply your cell elongate. Plant cells has cell wall, correct? So these cell walls, it can loosen up when it becomes acidic. So as it gets acidic, the cell wall softens and loosens, so it will start to elongate, right? And this is important, especially if the plant, when it first germinate or when it's in the early growth stages, grow in a not so optimum lighting condition. So it needs to grow taller in order to reach for the sunlight. Okay? And the resulting visual that you're going to see at the plant, they're going to look very slim and slender, right? Because they have grown by the actions of not only cell division but also cell enlargement or elongation. Okay? So the growth direction can be either determinate or indeterminate. So what it means is indeterminate, it looks something like this. The plants can pretty much grows in all directions. Indeterminate, right? You cut this side, it grows this side. You cut front, it goes at the back. But if it has the growth of determinate fashion, like the tomato here, when you cut the top, that's pretty much it. Okay, it's not going to grow further very much. So that's why for the example here, the tomato here, some tomato you got in the form of small shrub like chili plant, but some tomatoes we got in the form of vine tomato. It actually creeping and crawling. Okay, so these have impact on the produce and also the type of tomato that you're going to get. Okay, what about development? I would like to call development as the change in shape, like you evolved something. Okay, the good example here, you see here in the development of tomato fruit. We still use tomato. So tomato fruit, it starts with ovary. Remember, ovary gives rise to fruit. Ovule gives rise to seeds. Ovary, fruits. Ovule, seeds. Right. So ovary, it gets fertilized when the flower has reached anthesis. There's so many words you need to learn. Anthesis, meaning that the flower is fertile and receptive. So it gets fertilized and the flower petals will wither away and the ovary in the middle will start to develop. Develop into what? Here's the picture. It will start to develop into the fruit bud, like in here, and then the fruit will start to enlarge by the action of cell division and enlargement, and then it gets bigger and bigger until you get this green tomato, and then finally ripening. So you can see that tomato didn't start off with this shape. It is actually an ovary. So it developed from one organ to becomes another organ. It's pretty much evolved. That's why I call it evolved. Okay? Or the other word is called morphogenesis. Morph means form. Genesis means the production of. Right? I do not know whether your time now. Do you know Pokemon?
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's choose one base. I don't know Pikachu evolved into what.
Bulbasaur.
Okay, Bulbasaur. Does it has is that the base? Is it? Okay, Bulbasaur evolved into what? Sudah. Vegetable.
I don't know.
Venusaur.
Ivysaur. Macam Ivysaur dia apa? Kata tahu. You got a couple. Anybody know Pokemon yang boleh evolve 3 stage?
Ivysaur.
Ivysaur.
Bulbasaur, Ivysaur.
Bulbasaur to Ivysaur. That's only 2. We want 3. Which one?
Venusaur, then Mega Venusaur.
Boleh lah. So you can see that these Pokemons pretty much evolved into something more powerful, something with more functions, and something that is hardy, right? Actually, I can give you a simpler example, like the embryo, the gamete embryo, and then evolved into the ball. What's the ball called? The mass of ball that get embedded in the endometrium lining during your fetal development. It start with B. Bolus tu makanan yang kau masuk dalam perut tu. Cari lah sini. I'm not a medical doctor. So it evolves from this zygote, embryo, gamete semua, and then you got your fetus, and then you get your baby. After it's born, it's called a baby, and then the baby will develop into what? Baby, child. Child evolve into teen. Lepas tu teen, youth first. Youth, masa ni lah kau jadi dahaka dengan with your parents. And then you become your adult, menyesal. Kan, you become veteran, then you aging, duk rumah seri kenangan. That's the end of it. Right, so you evolve from one D cell, and suddenly you are at rumah seri kenangan already. Right. That's a very long journey, right? Right. Okay, so be sure you know how to differentiate between these two terminologies. Okay, growth, irreversible, increase in mass. That's the keyword. It increase in mass, not necessarily change the form of it. If it's once a tomato, now it just becomes a bigger tomato. It's not becoming tomato, become durian. No, that's developed, evolve, morphogenesis. Okay, growth is just simply the enlargement, elongation, volumized, becomes bigger. Development, the sum of all the changes that progressively happen in organism body. So, example here, you got your seeds, germinates, then you got your seedlings. Now your seedling will undergo vegetative state, active vegetative, and then it will start to transition to reproduction. And then this reproduction, you will start to have your flowers, you get your fruiting bodies, and then you get your senescence. The collection all of this life cycle is called the organism's developmental course. Okay, pretty much like your embryo, your human embryo, then all the way until you become at your unfortunate house. Right. Okay, I have one more example here. Okay, this is the wheat. Do you have wheat in Malaysia? Yes. Kat mana? Don't say Coco Crunch. Where? Show me where we got wheat in Malaysia. Wheat, not weed. Wheat is something that you hide in your closet in college. Gardenia? What? Why gardenia? What? Gardenia? What was my question? I asked, where is wheat in Malaysia? You said ada wheat dekat Malaysia. Mana ada? Tak ada. Why? Why wheat cannot grow in Malaysia? Temperature. What's wrong with the temperature? Wheat is actually a temperate plant that needs to undergo cool treatment in order to flower and fruiting. Pretty much like tulip. This is called vernalization requirement. Vernalization or cold treatment, meaning that the plant need to experience coldness or winter. If it doesn't undergo a period of distinct coldness, it will not produce any flower, just leaves. So that's what will happen to wheat. That's what will happen to pretty tulip. You're not going to eat tulip. Kau dapat daun lalang aja. Okay, but if the bulbs undergo winter, you got the snow and everything, frost, small vernalization, it get vernalized, you get your crop. That's why it cannot grow in Malaysia, right? And finally, differentiation, pembezaan cells. Okay. There are a number of examples, but I choose stomata because we talked about stomata earlier. Differentiation, it starts with one single cell, but these cells, not only that it divides to become a new cell, it's not becoming itself, it's becoming something else. So we have the stomata here. GC stands for gut cell. A pair of gut cell, the green here, is one stoma. Stoma. equals a pair of gut cells. Okay, what about the cells surrounding it? That actually called subsidiary cells. So, gut cell times 2 equals to stoma. Okay, surrounding we call it subsidiary. It kind of sandwich the gut cells in order to impart better control of the stomatal opening and closing. Okay, so how does it come about, this stoma structure? It starts with MMC, meristemoid mother cell, and then this cell, when it divides, this is still mitosis, okay? Don't take it wrongly. This is still mitosis, but can you see it divides asymmetrically? So this is one location in plant. The mitosis doesn't happen in equal manner. It divides, but the resulting cell, the sister cell, looks different. So now it becomes this green cell, and then the green cell divides again, producing different kind of cells surrounding it. And eventually, when you reach stage number 5 here, it divides again, but this time it does regular mitosis division, equals. So this is when you first start to get a pair of gut cell, okay? And then the differentiation happens, meaning that at first you get your meristematic cell, undifferentiated. There is no destiny to the cell. Meristem cell, meristem cell, meristem cell, meristem cell, meristem cell. Now, during maturation, the cells in the middle becoming a pair of gut cell, the cells surrounding it becoming subsidiary cells. Or in this case, that's actually not subsidiary cell, it's called pavement cells. Subsidiary cell is this cell, this stoma, the blue one. This is subsidiary cell, this is subsidiary cell. The jigsaw puzzles looking cell, that's pavement cells. Pavement cell is what? It's just a type of epidermal cell. The first layer of cell that you get right when you're looking at your leaf. Okay? So this is the special thing. You got your asymmetric division and also symmetric division, and you get also differentiation. Okay? Anywhere else you get differentiation? In human body. Let's talk human a bit, because you're human, right? Do you undergo cell differentiation? Where? Are you doing it now? Are you changing into something else?
No.
So, are you having cell differentiation or not now? Yes or no? If you don't do cell differentiation, you'll be pretty much dead now. You know why? Because every second, your body is producing blood cells. Your blood cells originate from your bone marrow. That is your meristematic cell, like here. And then this bone marrow divide, and then differentiate to give rise to various kind of blood cells. Red blood cell, white blood cells, platelets, neutrophil, basionophil, eosinophil. Did you learn that in biology? Yeah, all of these blood cells trace back to mother meristemoid cell, which is your bone marrow. Right? Okay, so that is one example, cell differentiation in the body. Okay, I think that's all for now. Okay, what time now?
9:25.
Okay, so we take a pause for now. Any question for today? Any question? Kenapa bang? Kebalik kaki. You can jump in my class. I don't mind. Jangan makan sudah, aku tak tanggung dosa. some of you, I know you don't have to do the fasting, but actually fasting is actually good. You do the, in your cells, in your body, you've got a bunch of zombie cells. You know zombie cells? Zombie cell meaning that cells that hidup segan mati tak mau. The moment you fast, beyond 12 hours, your body will activate a process known as autophagy, and this autophagy will clean you out of these zombie cells. So the more frequent fasting that you do, actually that's good for your body. Yeah. Sebab itu, in addition to Ramadan, you are encouraged to do your puasa sunat so that you are not eating non-stop like food. Alright. Okay, any question from today's lesson? We will make announcement later. We already have the folder. We'll tell you where. Okay? Alright. From this side, any question? Sana diam kejap. Any question this side?
No, but can I add another person because this one?
Go, it's open. Any question? All good? Any objection? Any regret? You can drop, go to other group. It's fine. I'm actually quite happy. Less paper to mark. At the end of the semester, I got this tendon 90 cramp. Tak apa pula kau jawab bukan. Right. Okay. Are you done with your group naming? If you're done, you put in here, okay? Write it on paper. Mark who's the unfortunate chief. Oh, write your metric number as well, please. Write your metric number. Please give your group a name. Any name, as long as it's not obscene. It can be no group, tak tahulah, Charizard ke, kan, Bellsprout ke, Gengar ke. Bagilah nama Gengar. Gengar? Kau tak dapat family mat ada ice cream Sofuto Gengar tu. Gengar is a type of Pikachu warna purple. What's the type? Macam nak tahu kan? It's a shadow type. Maksudnya dia hantu lah. Okay, write down, put it here, then you can dismiss the class. I'll see you again on Wednesday. Yeah. It's fine. 6 or 7. Or you want 5? Masuk tadi lah, buatlah mana-mana. 6 or 7 doesn't sebab kan. Not all group will be the same number. If your group needs to be less, then so be it. How many in your group now? Why 5? Make it 6. Please have your group, okay?